actually nice. It's very airy. A lot of air going through in and out. But we're just walking through this hallway where the statues are. And then we're gonna go upstairs and see the view upstairs. From the hallway, right here, there's a little room that stretches out into this kind of a museum. It's like with old artifacts, like look at the vase. I know a friend of mine would love to have that. These are old. Most of the vases here are broken, and somebody must have put them all together. See, all of them are like has cracks on it. Like this one. This one's a big one. It took him forever to put that together. Check this out. I found a Spartan shield, yeah. Look at that, a bronze Spartan shield. Look at that. That's the actual shield. 300. Yeah, it looks big. It's huge. Okay, right here is ancient coins. Look at that. It's kind of hard to see from the glass though, but they're not really round, huh? Some of them are like black. But I'm pretty sure they're like bronze or gold or silver. Okay, from here, we're gonna go up now. And goes up this way. Okay. See what's up here. It's a glass door. Oh no. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is the view from up here. We came from that street where the marketplace is, right here. And then we're gonna go there, that temple, soon. Or after this, maybe. And yeah, this is the view from up here. And what's up here is also like kind of pillars and stuff with a whole bunch of like statues on decoration. Well, this whole floor, I believe, is actually part of the museum. So after walking around and checking out the exhibits here, just right next to the Stoa, we came to this church. So this is called the Holy Apostle. It doesn't really say much on my app, but I'll do some research on it. The Church of the Holy Apostles, like the Stoa of Attalos, was reconstructed to its original form in 1954. I'm not sure when the original church was built, but it's one of the monuments in the Agora that survived intact since it was first constructed. Alright, let's check out what's inside this church. Let's see. This is the Church of the Holy Apostle. Let's go. Oh god. Wow. Right away they have like paintings on the walls here. Oh my god. This looks really old. I guess that's the altar. And then up here is a dome. I kind of wonder, those things right here, they're probably all over these walls back then, you know? And it's the only thing remaining. See, it looks like it kind of fades from there. I'm pretty sure it's not a Catholic church.
It's like a synagogue or something.
I have no idea what I'm talking about. Synagogues are Jewish religious buildings. This one is a Byzantine church dedicated to the Holy Apostles, so it's most likely a Christian church. Anyway, from the church, we walk to this area.
Okay, so this whole section right here is called the Odeon of Agrippa. It's an old concert hall before. This is their concert hall, this whole section right here. It's right in the middle of this whole place.
This whole area, as I've mentioned, is the ancient Agora of Athens. Agora in ancient Greek was a central public square or gathering place where artistic, spiritual, commercial, and political life of the city happened. And this area is where the Odeon of Agrippa was located. It was a two-story auditorium built in 15 BC that can hold up to 1,000 people as they watch performances complete with an orchestra. The auditorium's roof collapsed in 150 CE and was rebuilt into a lecture hall until it was destroyed in 267 CE by the Herlians, who were the early Germanic people of Northern Europe. Anyway, all you can see now are the ruins of the structure. Who knows, maybe someday they'll restore it to what it looked like before.
Alright, now we're done here in this section of Agrippa, whatever. We're gonna go head down there on that temple. See that temple right there? That's where we're gonna go next. And we have to go this way to get there.
So walking up the temple, I found this amazing view of the ancient Agora of Athens. By the way, the hill on the upper right is the Acropolis. You can actually see the Parthenon we explored the day before. And down in the middle of the Agora, you can see the Stoa of Attalos we just saw earlier, as well as the Odeon of Agrippa we just came from. You know, inside this Agora, there are a lot of ancient ruins scattered all over the place. We didn't visit all of them because there's just too many. We just went to the most popular or the most significant ones. Oh, and speaking of significant ruins, the ruins you see at the bottom of the screen is called Mitroun. It served as an ancient temple dedicated to the Mother of the Gods, as well as an archive building of the city dating back to the 2nd century BC.
So this is the Temple of Hephaestus. And no. But anyway, this is our last stop here at the Agrippa section. Is that right, Agrippa? I don't know what I'm talking about. But we're gonna try and get in this temple. I think you can go inside. But we'll see.
So right here is the Temple of Hephaestus. I was laughing because I thought I pronounced it wrong. I'm actually surprised that I pronounced that right. But what I got wrong is that it's not in the Agrippa section. What I meant to say is that it's our final landmark in the Agora section. Anyway, the Temple of Hephaestus is probably the most preserved structures here in Agora. Built of marble, it was constructed in 449 BC and was completed in 415 BC. The temple was dedicated to Hephaestus, who was the god of craftsmanship, metalwork, and fire. People used the temple to worship the god until the persecution of pagans in the late Roman Empire, which was between 306 to 337 AD. Sometime in the 17th century AD, the temple was converted into a Greek Orthodox church and served all the way to 1834, where it was used as a museum until 1934. Today it's considered as one of the greatest ancient monuments in Greece due to its preserved condition and history.
Alright, so that's it. That's the temple basically. We're done in this section. I kept saying Agrippa, it's actually Agora. It's the site. And we're gonna go to a museum, maybe an archaeological museum, which is it's a little bit far from here. But after that, if we ever go to the museum, we're gonna right next to it's an archaeological site about the museum. Or no, the museum is about the archaeological site next to it, whatever that means.
The museum I was talking about is called Keramicus Archaeological Museum, and the archaeological site is of Keramicus, which is an area of Athens located northwest of the Acropolis. We ended up not going there because, to be honest, we were really tired and it was at the opposite side of where we're going. So instead, we headed to the neighborhood of Athens called Psyrri.
So this area is called the Psyrri. It's an area where there's a lot of like cafes, restaurants, everything.
Psyrri, which I think is how you pronounce it. Like I said, it's a place filled with restaurants, cafes, bars, and hotels. It's actually one of the oldest neighborhoods in Athens. You know, I found out that several freedom fighters and immigrants after the liberation of Greece from Turkey in 1833 moved here and pretty much made this place as you see today. Anyway, since we haven't had lunch yet, we decided to look for a restaurant. It took us a while to find one because there's just so many to choose from, but we eventually did find one. After scanning the menu, I ended up getting the chicken kebab wrap, and for her, she got the squid sandwich. For our drink, we both got their local beer, a nice cold one too, which we both needed. So this is the chicken kebab wrap I ordered. Well, it should have been a wrap, but our waiter got it wrong and got me the sandwich instead. I was thinking of sending it back, but she didn't speak English that well. I didn't want to go through explaining what happened, so I decided to keep it. I don't think I can wait for them to make me a new one. I've already talked about the history of kebabs on my last video, and this chicken kebab is not different. Well, except that it's in a sandwich. Normally here in Greece, it's served in a pita bread with fries, salad, and tzatziki sauce. This one was pretty close. It had tomatoes, onions, fries, and tzatziki sauce. This one is hers. It's also not in a pita bread, which we kind of want, but it's actually good because I can open this up and you can see it's squid. Hers looks really good. It's like it's just fried squid on a sandwich, right? It looks pretty good. So before I took a bite of my chicken kebab, I first wanted to know how the chicken was as I cut through it with my knife. And just like the kebab we had the day before, the chicken was really soft. I was expecting it to be dry, but it's not. First of all, the chicken was really tender and flavorful. Usually when I have chicken kebab in the US, it would be a chunk of grilled chicken meat, and most of the time it's really dry. But here it's different. It's grounded and very juicy. All the flavors of the ingredients in this sandwich, the fries, tomatoes, onions, and the tzatziki sauce work really well together. It was pretty good, but the bread was a bit soggy. I think having this with pita bread is how it should be. Anyway, we both cut a piece of our sandwiches and gave it to each other so we can both try them. You know, to be honest, when I first saw her squid sandwich, I wanted to switch with her, but I know she wouldn't want to. I don't blame her. I mean, I've never seen a sandwich like this before. Normally you eat fried squid by itself, but this one is inside a sandwich made with the same ingredients as my chicken kebab. Just as I expected, the squid was amazing. Although I think it was fried a little too long, but the squid was still tender. I know I've mentioned this before, but squid is one of my favorite food. It doesn't matter if it's fried or steamed, I just love it. So the chicken kebab wasn't that bad at all. It was good, but the squid was way better in my opinion. Now if I had a chance to start over, I would definitely order the squid. Okay, so after having lunch, we walked this street right here, and we found this church. It's not on our itinerary, but I don't know, just looking through the door, the church looks nice, so we just thought of like checking it out, see what it looks like. Oh wow, look at this church. Oh man, church looks different. It also has like a dome up there. Look how amazing the light is. Look at this. This church is called the Church of St. Demetrius. It's located here in the neighborhood of Psyrri. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any information about this church online, except for the brochure we got inside. And according to the brochure, it was built in 1845 and temporarily functioned as the Cathedral Church of Athens. It also talks about how impressive the interior decorations are, especially the frescoes you see here, which are painted by well-known artists in the early 19th century. Actually, we were heading down to a marketplace, but we ended up coming here in this church, and it is a pretty small church. We're gonna go to the marketplace now. So this is called the Varvakios Central Market in the Central Municipal Market of Athens. It's located here on the Athena Street. This marketplace is well known all over the city for having the best local cuts of meat, as well as cured meat, herbs, and spices. This public market opened in 1886 and has been in business ever since. You'll pretty much find everything a market can offer here. It has a fish, meat, vegetable, herb, and spice sections. They even have shops and stores you see right there, lined up outside next to the street that serves fresh food. If you're wondering, this market opens every day except Sundays from early morning all the way to the afternoon. So this is the
Varvakios Market. You go straight down there. It's just some whole marketplace. I don't know if you can see it, but they're like selling like a lot of meat, butchers and stuff. We're not gonna go in there. We just passed by, so we're gonna go straight to the next stop now. Just down from the Varvakios Market.
I got confused with my app because somehow I thought this was a marketplace, but it's actually the Kotzia Square. It was constructed in 1874 and was used during the 2004 Summer Olympics as the start and finish line for the cycling events. Anyway, this square is surrounded by a number of major streets, and one of them is the Athena Street you see here. By the way, in front of the square, across the Athena Street, is the Athens City Hall. And at the opposite side of the Kotzia Square, you'll find the art collection of the National Bank of Greece, which exhibits more than 1,300 original artworks. But what I found really interesting is that right in front of the museum inside the Kotzia Square is this. It's a dig site where they uncovered artifacts, tombs, and a small building and a road dating back to the ancient times. It looks like the excavation is still going on, so it's most likely you're going to find more stuff in this square.
So while walking down the street of this new center of Athens, we found this. It's like an old church. I have the name. I'll just put it right here. But in front of it is like a plaza where there's like restaurants and shops. Such a contrast, huh?
Anyway, from this church, as we were walking back to our hotel, we decided to buy some supplies for our trip to Santorini the next day, as well as food to bring back home as gifts. So before we headed back to our hotel, we came to our last and final landmark here in Athens, which is the National Historic Museum, or the old Parliament House, where it used to house the Greek Parliament from 1875 to 1935. Today it's a museum that exhibits collections of the Historical and Ethnological Society of Greece. Items from the Greek Revolution, World War II, and the capture of Constantinople in 1453 are all displayed here. So I guess if you're looking to find a museum specializing in those eras, then you should definitely visit this place.
So this is called the National Historic Museum, which is our last stop for today. That's it. I'm really tired. Right now we're gonna go back to our hotel, pack up our stuff, because tomorrow we have to wake up at like 3 or 2 in the morning, or no, maybe like 4 in the morning. We should be at the airport already because we're gonna go to Santorini, which is our flight is like around 6 o'clock in the morning, but we want to get to the airport early though. So we're gonna go straight to our hotel, pack up our stuff, and then have dinner after that. And we're not gonna go inside, by the way.
After resting and packing our things for our flight to Santorini the next day, we decided to go back to the same restaurant we went to on our first night here. We came back to this place not only for the food, but because we felt really comfortable here. I guess it's the people that work in this restaurant. They were all nice. The only problem I have though is the damn music they're playing in here. I mean, it's not loud or distracting. It's simply because I have to edit it out due to all that copyright issues. And because of that, now I have to do more voiceover for this. So starting from the menu, I ordered the seafood risotto. She had this on our first meal here and I really liked it, so I decided to order it again. And as for her, she ordered the grilled cuttlefish risotto. For our starter, we got the trilogy of grilled mushrooms. And finally for our drink, we got the bottle of their white wine. Before any of our food arrived, just like our first dinner here and that restaurant we had breakfast earlier, they gave us that same drink for free. I still have no idea what it is, but it's gotta be one of those drinks I mentioned earlier. Anyway, I'm starting to really like this drink. It's actually a good way to start or end the meal. So like any other restaurant, they serve us the white wine first. You know, I've always wondered why restaurants always serve the drink first. I mean, I would think that they'd serve it with the food, especially the wine, because wine is meant to complement the food you're eating. I don't know, I guess it's just me. I'd rather have my drink while eating food. You know what, now that I think about it, if people finish their drink before the food arrives, they'll be forced to order another one. Anyway, this is the trilogy of grilled mushrooms. On the menu, it says that it's white mushrooms, pleurotus or oyster mushrooms, and portobello with white balsamic vinegar, honey, and thyme. I know some people wouldn't order this as an appetizer, but we both love mushrooms, and seeing something like this on the menu for the first time, we just had to try it. So I went for the white mushroom first, because it's the most common one. I have to say the grilled mushroom smelled so good. It pretty much gave away the flavor before I even tried it.
It kind of has like a glazed sauce.
tasted exactly the way it smelled. That smoky grilled flavor was so good. And having it with the sauce gave it that sweet and a hint of sour taste to it. It was really good. Now for the oyster mushroom. I don't think I've ever had this mushroom before, but it looks and feels like grilled chicken teriyaki to me. So the taste was different, it had a deeper smoky flavor to it, and the texture was like chicken. I guess if I didn't know what it was, I won't be able to tell that it's a mushroom. So finally, the portobello mushroom. Now, I've had this mushroom many times. I've had it with burgers, and I've even grilled it myself before, so I know I'll like this one even if I don't taste it. All three mushrooms were good, even though they all have that grilled smoky flavor mixed with that amazing sauce. They still have their own distinct flavors. If I were to choose which one I like the most, I would say the white mushroom, because the flavor was more subtle. It's not as powering as the portobello. The oyster mushroom, on the other hand though, that's something I just have to get used to. So moving on is the seafood risotto I ordered. I've talked about this dish before, how I compared it to the seafood risotto we had in Rome. And one thing I was surprised to find out was the difference between them. I mean, the ingredients and how it's cooked are about the same, but the major difference is that the Italian risotto is made with rice and this one is made with pasta. Anyway, like I said, she ordered this before and I got to try it. I remember it being so good, I just had to order it. Right here is the grilled cuttlefish risotto she ordered. I tried looking it up online and I couldn't find anything about this dish. Most likely it's something this restaurant created. Well, on the menu, it simply says grilled cuttlefish with lemon spinach risotto. I've never heard of this kind of risotto before. I mean, I'm not an expert in risotto or food in general, but this is just different. One thing I can say though, it looks pretty good to me. I have to admit, I was really excited to eat this dish. Just by looking and smelling all the seafood in this plate, I can tell it was really fresh. And the creamy texture of the pasta was just perfect. So that bite was just as amazing as the first time I tried this dish. The squid was nice and tender, perfectly cooked I have to say, but it's definitely the sauce that makes this dish. You can just taste everything. The tomatoes with that creamy butter taste mixed with the seafood is something I'll never forget. It was really good. But as I was going on talking about how good this dish was, I noticed she wasn't really enjoying her food that much, so I gave it a try and switched with her. While I was examining this dish, it gave out a strong lemony smell to it, which I don't mind because I love lemon, especially with seafood, but the cuttlefish was a little firm once I stabbed it with my fork. So first of all, the cuttlefish was definitely overcooked. It wasn't tender as I wanted it to be, and after trying the rice or pasta with the sauce, I have to say it had a very sharp sour flavor to it. It was very tangy. I think they put a little too much lemon on this dish, and because of that, the flavor of the cuttlefish as well as the spinach just disappeared. I just can't taste it. You know, as much as I love the seafood risotto, I ended up giving it to her because I know she's not that into lemon flavored foods. And to be honest, I don't really mind switching dishes with her. I think if I didn't have that sweet, wonderful seafood risotto flavor in my mouth, I wouldn't think that the cuttlefish risotto was too tangy. I mean, it's still sour, but it just needed a little sweetness to it. The cuttlefish, on the other hand though, now that's still overcooked.
So after dinner, we just right next to our restaurant, that's the restaurant. Just right next to the restaurant is this ice cream shop. We're gonna have some ice cream. Vanilla and chocolate. That's it. Alright, so mine is vanilla. We got the vanilla. And she got the chocolate, of course. And we're gonna eat it, and that's the end of the night. We're gonna have to sleep early tonight because tomorrow we have to go to Santorini.